Today, I'm going to share with you the 19 most important principles in personal development. If you are someone who wants to have more success, create more wealth, grow your business, or achieve your full potential, understanding these 19 principles will be a game changer for you. These are the same principles that I learned and applied to my own life to go from broke and alone and purposeless to creating a $30 million transformational company with the woman of my dreams and a life I absolutely love. Now, there are a lot of videos out there talking about the success principles of the top 0.01% or how to get rich, but what I'm going to be sharing with you in this episode are literally the root cause of success. So if you want to live a life of purpose, if you want to be unbelievably rich and make an impact in the world, then you're going to want to stay with me until the end, because there's a lot of information out there, and wealth and success and personal growth can feel overwhelming and confusing sometimes, but I'm going to break everything down for you into 19 bite-sized chunks in today's episode. So here we go. Number one, you create your own reality. This is a very important concept to understand that Napoleon Hill talked about in his book, Think and Grow Rich. Your thoughts are creating every single result that you are or are not producing in your life. And this is not sometimes, it is always. There are no exceptions. The relationship friction that you're experiencing, you're creating. The lack of financial abundance and the financial insecurity that you're experiencing, you are creating. Your job situation, your business situation, your health situation, you are creating. Now, this is a good thing because when you're creating your reality and you know that your thoughts are what's creating it, you can change your reality by changing your thoughts. And this is not some sort of woo-woo concept. This is fundamental to the idea of behavioral psychology. Behavioral psychology tells us that the beliefs that are formed at a very young age inform the way that you think today. So if you grew up believing money was hard to make, you're going to have thoughts related to financial scarcity or how money is hard to make today. If you developed a belief early on that relationships never work out, those are the types of thoughts that you're having today. Your beliefs determine your thoughts. Your thoughts create your emotions. Every time you have a thought, the neural networks of your brain light up. That electrical activity is then transmitted through your nervous system, and you experience the thought as a feeling. If you're having thoughts of financial scarcity, if you're worried about your health, if you're struggling with your career, if you're frustrated with your business, you're going to experience negative emotions. And your emotions determine the action you do or do not take. So you cannot produce positive results from negative emotions. And so if you're experiencing stress, anxiety, or overwhelm, that's going to determine the action that you take. Oftentimes it's self-sabotage, procrastination, indecision, or hustle and grind. Those actions determine your results. And so those results always reinforce the beliefs that started them. See, I knew money was hard to make. You have to hustle and grind. Relationships never work out. None of that is necessarily true. But if you believe it to be true, it becomes true for you. Henry Ford said the man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he can't are both right. And what he was referring to is this idea that you create your own reality and that your thoughts or your belief systems are creating the experiences of your life. Now, there's a magic that also takes place, and it's not magic. It's a fundamental understanding of vibration and energy. And that is every time you have a thought, you're putting a vibration into an energetic reality. Other people are receiving at an unconscious level, your belief systems, your thoughts, and they are making unconscious decisions to line up timing and synchronicity in your life so that they can help coordinate the outcomes that you believe. Now, this is a wonderful thing if you've got empowered beliefs and you believe in prosperity, abundance, health, and compassion and relationships and achieving your full potential, you'll align all of life to support you in achieving those results. But if you've got limiting beliefs or you've got resistance or unprocessed childhood traumas, you're going to continue to create circumstances and situations in your life that you don't like. It reminds me of the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, where every single day Bill Murray is living the same life over and over and over again, and he gets so frustrated and bored with living the same day over again that he finds very creative ways to kill himself. And the movie's very funny, but it's not funny that many of us are also feeling that frustration, that depression. We no longer want to live the same day over and over, and the good news is you can change your day. You can change your life with a changed mind. That's distinction number one. Distinction number two. Every desire you've ever had is already in the process of materializing. See, there's a lot of information out there that you need to do a bunch of incantations or affirmations or write down your goals every single day or visualize or imagine what it is and really feel the outcome that you want. All of those things are fine if you enjoy doing that, but not as a means to achieve the end. result, which is your materialized desire. See, your desire is already in the process of materializing. The moment that you have a desire, all of life begins to conspire to bring that desire into reality. This is a very important concept to understand, and it's articulated in scripture in Isaiah, where there's a line that says something like, before they even ask, I hear them. And before they even hear, I have already responded. And what that basically means is that life or the universe or God or Jesus or Allah or the unified field or the higher power of your own understanding, the system of intelligence that we live in, the moment you flare off a desire, it's already heard you. And it's working to organize all the cooperative components. Some of those are coincidences and synchronicities that are occurring external to you. And some of that is activating thoughts or ideas in consciousness that are trying to make their way to you. But they can only make their way to you, these new ideas, if you are in non-resistance. And that takes us to distinction number 3. The key to materializing your results is non-resistance. It's not hustle and grind. It's not figuring out how to do more in the same amount of 24 hours that you have. It's not coming up with the perfect plan. That's not the way to produce the results or the goals that you want to achieve in your life. The key to materializing your results is actually to learn how to be in non-resistance, to downregulate your nervous system, to move out of the sympathetic expression of your nervous system in fight or flight, which most human beings are living in most of the time, which is why most people never achieve their goals and dreams. But the key to materializing your goals and dreams is non-resistance. When you're in non-resistance, meaning when you're not entangled with a limiting belief, or you're not stressed or overwhelmed or feeling like there's not enough time, or feeling bad for yourself, or feeling like things are never going to work out for you, all of that negative thinking and therefore those negative emotions, when you're not in that state of being, you have thoughts and ideas that will naturally lead you to produce the results that you want. You're available to observe the miracles and the synchronicities and the coincidences that are showing up in your life and to be able to take advantage of them. You can't do that when you're operating from resistance. So distinction number 3 is the key to materializing your results is non-resistance. Again, it's not as complicated as most people make it. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't have to have a lot of financial resources. You don't need to have a bunch of time. No matter what circumstance or situation you're in, regardless of what it feels like today, you can change your situation when you learn how to operate from non-resistance. Principle number 4, your emotions tell you whether or not you're in resistance. See, your nervous system is an emotional guidance system, and it's informing you of when you're in resistance. When you're feeling good feelings like joy, excitement, and curiosity, that means you're in alignment with how the universe is operating around you. You believe in abundance. You believe in prosperity. You believe that life is always working for you. You believe that no matter what challenge you're going through, it will transform into a solution. You believe that every failure that you experience is not really a failure, but it's a setup for your next success, through learning and through the process. When you have these types of belief systems that are aligned with producing extraordinary results, you feel good. However, when you start to have thoughts that are in contradiction to the results that you want to produce, oh, it never works out for me, there's something wrong with me, I don't matter, see, money or wealth is for other people, but it's not for me, money's hard to make, I'm never going to overcome this chronic health condition, there's something wrong with my body, you move into a negative state of emotion. And you move into a negative state of emotion because those thoughts are not in alignment with this omnipotent, omnipresent, incredibly efficient system of intelligence that we're operating within that can produce any outcome that we desire. It is the same system of intelligence that is managing the cosmos. It's the same system of intelligence that is operating the trillions of cells in your body in perfect harmony. It's the same system of intelligence that holds together the ecosystem and the environment of our planet. This system of intelligence is inside of us and it's outside of us. The Buddhists called it the great shining body of radiance that has no beginning and no end. The Hindus describe it as amidst and beyond us. It is this fabric of reality that is intelligence itself, and it's always working for your greatest growth, your greatest prosperity, and your greatest evolution. And when you have thoughts that are not in alignment with that idea, that life can be easy, that abundance is your birthright, that you will achieve your full potential, your nervous system is like a lie detector test. And it basically says, negative emotion. The thoughts you're having right now are not in alignment with the natural functioning of the system, which is always working to provide for you. That's distinction number 4. Your emotions tell you whether or not you're in some form of resistance or entangled with a limiting belief. Principle number 5. Life is organizing all of the cooperative components to produce your desired outcome. Now, I talked about this briefly before, but it's important to understand that not only is your desire immediately received by life, but it's working in incredibly sophisticated ways to produce your desired outcome. Again, it does this in two ways. It does it internally through the activation of ideas in consciousness that you begin to have access to. You start thinking about what you can do at work to get a promotion, or perhaps another job that you could get where you could get a promotion by moving to another position. You start thinking new ideas around how to grow your business. You start to have ideas around how to work on your health or get back into the gym despite how you feel. You start to have unconscious ideas of like what restaurant you should go to or what activity you should engage in, where lo and behold, you meet your soulmate. So it happens in an internal way, but it also happens in an external way. Life is organizing all of the cooperative components to produce your desired outcome. You could say, for example, that I did a lot of work to get this podcast to 1 million listeners on a monthly basis. Okay, I recorded an episode every single week for the course of about a year. But life was already organizing the cooperative components to make my dream a reality. It created YouTube. It created Apple. It gave Steve Jobs the idea for creating a platform where podcasts could be listened to. If you think about it, most of the work that's taking place to produce any outcome that you've ever created happened external to you. In fact, 99.9% of the work is outside of us. Life is always working for our greatest growth, our greatest prosperity, and our greatest evolution. And principle number 5 tells us that it is organizing all of the cooperative components to produce any desired outcome you have. Principle number 6. You don't have to hustle and grind to produce extraordinary results. In fact, hustle and grind is a sign of resistance. Now, I know there's a lot of talk out there by a lot of teachers, especially in entrepreneurial and business development space, who will yell at you on different videos or podcasts telling you that you need to get up at 5 a.m. or you have to hustle or grind. It is a Navy SEAL type of mentality. And while you can produce results that way, and there's nothing wrong with people teaching this method, it's not what I prefer, and it's not the only way. Yes, you can hustle and grind like the Incredible Hulk, or you can be a little bit more elegant like Dr. Strange. I prefer the Dr. Strange route. And so it's important to understand that oftentimes when we are hustling and grinding and pushing really hard, this is a sign of resistance. It's an expression of fear that we're not going to be able to produce the result, fear that it comes down to us taking individual action and forgetting that there's this cooperative component external to us that is also working to align our success. It is a very limited mentality, and over time, it can burn you out. It'll wear and tear on your body and your spirit. So it's important to understand that the master equation for producing results in your life is not desire plus hustle and grind equals desired result. It's desire plus non-resistance equals desired result. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're not going to take action. You will, but you'll be taking action from an inspired place, not from a hustle and grind position. Principle number 7, you don't need to know how you're going to produce the results that you desire. This is very important to understand. A lot of people get stopped because they get to a place where they go, but I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to make $1 million. I don't know how I'm going to launch this business while I've also got my family and my kids and my full-time job. I don't know how I'm going to be able to recover my health and overcome this chronic pain condition or autoimmune disease that I've been experiencing for many, many years. What's important to understand is you don't need to know the how. There was a study done in 2009. It was called the Harvard Brain Study. It was featured in Time magazine. And in that study, researchers brought in piano players and studied when they played the piano, and they saw which parts of the pianist's brain lit up. Then they had the piano players just come in and imagine playing the piano, and they saw that the same parts of their brain lit up. Now, this was an extraordinary revelation that your brain does not know the difference between reality or your imagination. In fact, they were even able to measure the amount of neural activity, and what they discovered was just by imagining, 80% of the brain activity was being produced. So this is important to understand because your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. And so as you're allowing yourself to imagine your desired outcomes, to imagine yourself being healthy, to imagine yourself being wealthy, to imagine yourself being successful in your business, being a New York Times bestseller, to imagine yourself with your soulmate, you're actually starting to build a memory in your brain of a future that hasn't happened yet. You start to create new neural activity. New neurons start to connect through synaptic connections, and you literally create a memory as if you had already achieved these outcomes. Now, what's important to understand about this is that if you had already achieved these outcomes, you would know how you achieved it. And so herein, we're able to understand how you can access the plan or the how. you start to tap into and tune into the ideas that are necessary in order to produce the result when you give yourself enough time to imagine and visualize the outcome without thinking you need to know the how. You'll have the thoughts, you'll have the ideas, and going back to what we talked about before, you'll start to activate the coincidences and the synchronicities, and you'll look back and of course see that you executed on a plan. But the plan is discovered or accessed not through trying to figure out the plan, but by actually allowing the idea to exist without killing it, thinking you need to know the plan or know the how in order to produce the result. So what again we see is that the plan is a byproduct of relaxing. The plan is a byproduct of allowing yourself to imagine without needing to know the how. The plan is a byproduct of desire plus non-resistance. Now, distinction number 8. This is very important to understand. When you're thinking something that doesn't feel good, it's not true. We talked a moment before about how you have an emotional guidance system that is informing you of whether or not the thoughts that you're having are in alignment with the nature of reality, in alignment with the fact that there is a supremely intelligent system that is operating inside of you, as you, and external to you, and that it is coordinating to produce the desires that you want. It is always operating in your greatest growth, your greatest prosperity, and your greatest evolution. That doesn't mean that we don't have challenges, but those challenges are just chapters within a book, leading us to the final chapter, which is the outcome that you want. The mistake that we make is that we call the challenges problems, not realize that they're just stepping stones along the path and relaxing through them as they transform into solutions. So this distinction that what you're thinking, when you're thinking something that doesn't feel good isn't true, is really, really powerful. This has actually become my daily living meditation. When I go through my day and I notice that I move into a negative state of emotion, I feel stressed or anxious or overwhelmed. When I notice that I don't feel good, I take a look at my thinking. And oftentimes I'm thinking a fear-based thought, oh my God, this isn't going to work out for me. I should have done something different. They shouldn't have said that to me. I don't have enough time. And I have a little mantra that I use to break that habit of that thought, which is, it's not true. I don't always need to know what is true. Of course, we teach that through the tools in our coaching programs, how to actually discover what is true for you and transform this limiting belief that you're engaged with into a new empowered decision. But what's important is that you just break the habit. It's like doing a new repetition. As long as you don't continue to go down that rabbit trail and entertain that untrue thought that doesn't feel good, you're making great progress. This is actually a process called neural pruning, where you're starting to prune out those old thoughts by not engaging with them. How do you not engage with them? Well, you realize that when you're thinking something that doesn't feel good, it's not true. And you can get into a simple daily practice of just literally saying that to yourself or saying it out loud, that's not true, and moving on to another thought or idea. Hey, it's David. Quick announcement before we get back to your episode. Our annual event, the Powerful Living Experience, is coming up. There's a link in the show notes, or you can visit powerfullivingexperience.com. Check out the video of last year's event. We're going to be bringing together 1,000 impact-driven entrepreneurs, leaders, and game changers to spend 3 days doing what matters most. Going really, really deep on identifying the limiting beliefs and subconscious programs that are still preventing you from your full potential, and going through deep experientials and trainings and transforming them. We're also going to be getting into concepts like wealth creation, purpose, greatness, money, relationships, health. And if you're an entrepreneur, we're going to be spending about 20% of that event opening up my business playbook, the same strategies and tactics and techniques that we use to go from $0 to $30 million in an impact-driven business, while spending 90% of my time doing what I love. There's nothing like the Powerful Living Experience. Inc. named it a top 3 must-attend personal development event for entrepreneurs and leaders, and I want to see you there. We've got some discounted tickets right now, plus some additional bonuses. Again, all the information is in the link in the show notes, or you can jump on over to powerfullivingexperience.com, get registered, and I will plan on seeing you there along with 1,000 other impact-driven, incredible members of our community for 3 days that you will never forget. And now, back to your regularly scheduled episode. Now, principle number 9. The key to getting rich, creating results, or producing any outcome that you want is to be happy. So, most of the time, we believe that by producing these outcomes or results, we'll become happy. But the truth is that happiness is the royal road to producing these results. We talked about before that when you operate from non-resistance, you naturally have the thoughts and ideas, and you allow the coincidences and the synchronicities to align themselves in order to produce the results that you want. Well, what that must mean is that we're not trying to get rich or get a better job or improve our health or get into a better relationship in order to be happy. Happiness is the thing that must come first. And what prevents happiness is an unintelligent thought. We mentioned this in the previous distinction. Anytime you're thinking something that's taking you out of your happiness, that thought is untrue. And so the only thing that is preventing you from being happy is not that you don't have the results that you want, it's actually your own thinking. Principle number 10, when you're in alignment, you're in flow, you naturally take action, and you enjoy the process. See, a lot of people misunderstand some of this conversation or the idea of law of attraction or thoughts become things as I can just sit on my sofa watching Netflix, eating cheesy poofs, and materialize $1 million in my bank account. That's not true. We talked about it before. Your beliefs determine your thoughts determine your emotions determine your action, and your actions produce results. So actions are a very important part of the structure of materializing what it is that you want to create. Now, while you're taking action, again, of course, life is also taking action, and it's creating rendezvous or lineups or timing that support you in producing the results that you want. But when you're in alignment, you're naturally taking inspired action. And that's why non-resistance is so important. Again, action is part of it, but we want to take action from an inspired place. Principle number 11, beliefs are decisions. This was one of the most groundbreaking discoveries that I had in my own journey of personal growth. It's sometimes difficult to wrap our arms around a belief that money is hard to make, or that we can't trust people, or that we don't matter. How do you work with something that is in your head and invisible that you can't really get your hands around? And the idea is that beliefs are actually decisions. When we were younger, we came to unconscious decisions about ourselves, about money, about relationships, about life, about the universe. And as a result of how the human being operating system works, the moment we installed that program or that belief, the brain started paying attention to only things that were in alignment with that belief and started omitting or not paying attention to anything that wasn't in alignment with that belief. And so we look back on our lives and it seems like we've accumulated a tremendous amount of evidence to support our limiting beliefs. We've even had really intense experiences that represent our limiting beliefs. But the truth is that we've been living in an altered state, where we've only been paying attention to the experiences or the circumstances or the situations that support our limiting beliefs. When we realized that, and we realized that beliefs were decisions, we decided that money was hard to make, or we decided that we couldn't trust people, or we decided that relationships didn't work out, we take back our personal power. So now as an adult, when you become aware of a limiting belief, if you understand that beliefs are decisions, you can simply make a new decision. And the decision that you make is always the opposite of the limiting belief, that money is easy to make, that relationships do work out, that you can trust people, that you do matter. And there's something extraordinary that happens when you're willing to make a new decision and to hold that decision as true for just a short period of time. Number one, you start to have new thoughts and ideas that are in alignment with the new decision. You start to have ideas or thoughts around abundance, prosperity, wellness, connection, empathy, growth, and achieving your full potential. You start to have new ideas around growing your business or what business you could start. You start to have clarity around your purpose. And as you start to have new thoughts and ideas, another extraordinary thing happens. Your perception of reality also changes. There's a part of the brain called the reticular activating system, and it's that part of the brain that notices the car that you just bought everywhere on the road. It's filtering out 88% of the information that's coming into you on a daily basis, and it's only paying attention to the 12% that is in alignment with what you believe. So when you realize beliefs are decisions and you make a new decision, you start to change your perception of reality and you start to notice different evidence in your life. When we're working with entrepreneurs and we help them make new decisions around their limiting beliefs, oftentimes they say, I can't believe it. I started enrolling a bunch of new high-paying clients and they were people that I already knew or people who were already in my network. And we understand that because those people were always there, but they were invisible because they didn't line up with your belief systems. The third extraordinary thing that happens when you make a new decision is now life can work to co-create the dreams and the results and the goals that you have. Now you start to let in and line up those synchronicities and coincidences, and they occur in alignment with these new empowered decisions. Beliefs are decisions. Principle number 12. You must let go of your resentments because they are holding on to some of your limiting beliefs. This was something that I discovered in my 12-step work as I did the steps to identify and let go of my resistance. Some of our limiting beliefs, and you may have experienced this, are harder to let go of than others. If you've been in personal growth for a while, perhaps some of your limiting beliefs you've transformed to let go of, but others seem to have what people call deeper roots. Well, those deeper roots are oftentimes resentments. See, you cannot let go of a limiting belief if you have not let go of the person who represented it in your life. So oftentimes there's an opportunity for us to forgive our parents, as many of our limiting beliefs were formed with them, or forgive other people in our life who either programmed us with these limiting beliefs or who represented these limiting beliefs. There's a process that we teach called the forgiveness framework that is a very powerful process for identifying and letting go of your resentments. This is essential if you want to be able to operate at the highest level in your life and operate from non-resistance by letting go of your limiting beliefs. Principle number 13. There is a delay between when you make a new decision or you transform your belief and when your reality changes. We call this the echo effect. And this is critical to understand because what happens to most people as they start making new decisions or transforming their beliefs is that they believe in abundance or prosperity or wellness. They trust other people. They believe that their business will grow. They believe that life can be easy. For a few days. And then life shows up in a way that's not in alignment with the new belief that you've established or the new decision that you've made. And what most people do is they go, oh, see, I knew it. Things will never change. This stuff doesn't work. I have to do deeper work. There must be some unconscious hidden trauma. What's true, actually, is that life takes a little bit of time to change. The reality that you're experiencing right now, today, your present moment, is old news. Everything that you're going to experience today and the outcomes that you'll experience and the circumstances and situations, they're a result of what you've been thinking from before. And so it's very important to understand that there is this delay. And the delay is a good thing. The delay allows us to manage our reality in a much more efficient way. Could you imagine if there was instant manifestation with all of the negative thinking that most people have? We wouldn't make it beyond 24 hours without destroying ourselves. So change comes in an incremental process. It's almost as if it's a software system where you experience the same problem again, and the universe or life or God is saying, are you sure you want this change? So the important thing is to stay loyal to the new decision. Allow the circumstances and situations that show up that represent your old limiting beliefs to come and go. Let go of them. Don't get entangled with them and revert back to the old decision. Don't undecide the new empowered decision that you've made just because there's something that shows up in your life that seems to represent the old. It's a normal part of the process. It is an echo of the past. Let it echo and let it pass on. Principle number 14. Life is doing most of the heavy lifting. So we talked about this before. There is a power greater than yourself, and your willingness to surrender to the path that it is creating is essential. Eisenhower said, planning is essential and plans are useless. And what that means is each and every day you get up with some idea of what you want to focus on and the action that you need to take in order to produce the outcomes of your life. And you don't have to be obsessive about it. You don't have to write down all your goals. You don't have to be perfect in terms of your organization or your discipline. You get up with an idea of what you should be doing and what you focus on, and you go and do those things as well as living your life. And as you do that, life will start to organize and respond. It will start to shape its own plan, right? See, life or God or the universe or the field is the great waymaker. And while it's great that we have an idea of what our plan should be, because that's a launch pad for our activity throughout the course of the day, the truth is that there's a larger plan. And our ability to achieve our full potential or the outcomes that we desire is to align ourselves with that plan. And that plan shows up on a daily basis. Sometimes I have a whole list of things that I'm going to do over the course of a day, record some podcast episodes, review some copy with my team, be interviewed on another podcast, work on my next book, work on a new training, coach my coaching clients, and something shows up in the day. And the old way I would react to it is this is a problem. It's disrupting my plan. But the new way that I react to these things is I relax through them because I realize that my plan is not the plan. What shows up here today is the plan. The plan is being delivered to me. Sometimes that plan is spending more time with my son. Sometimes that plan is I don't feel well and I have to rest. Sometimes that plan is I have to coach one of my employees into a higher level of leadership, or somebody on my team resigns and I have to make some adaptations or adjustments. Things don't always go as I expect them to. In fact, most of the time they don't, and neither do they for you. But we can relax and move into non-resistance when we realize that whatever is unfolding over the course of our day is the plan. And that we can bring our full presence to it. And when we bring our full presence to something, it transforms any problem into a solution. The problem is not that things show up on a daily basis that we don't expect. The problem is that we think that they shouldn't be showing up. Then we move into into resistance, and we get entangled with those things rather than allowing them to transform into the opportunities that they're meant to transform into. Again, it's very important to understand while that you have a plan, you should execute on it, but there's a greater plan at work. And our capacity to understand that and be present to it and surrender to that plan as it shows up on a daily basis is the key to our success. Principle number 15, meditate daily to calm your mind and let non-resistance seep into your nervous system. There's a lot of information out there about meditation, different breathing techniques, different chanting, visualization, what you should focus on. I don't particularly think it's that important. What's important is that for 20 minutes a day, you sit in quiet and you just allow your vibration to raise. You allow the resistance to work itself out through the habitual patterns of thoughts and emotions, and you get into a position or a place where you can be in non-resistance. 20 minutes a day where you're just not focused on thinking about problems. Again, problems may come up as you're in your meditative practice. You allow them to come up and you allow them to go. But what meditation does is it allows you to go back to a new baseline of non-resistance. And as you do that, it's like going to the gym. You practice non-resistance through meditation and you're able to bring that non-resistance into your day. Because so much of this work is learning how to downregulate your nervous system so that you're not operating from fight or flight or stress or anxiety or overwhelm. And meditation, however you do it, gives yourself a break from the habit of negative thoughts and negative emotions that we experience on a daily basis. And you start to build new muscle fiber, new emotional fiber, new spiritual fiber of non-resistance simply just by sitting in quiet for 20 minutes a day. Principle 16, don't obsess about your goals. Right? A lot of people think they need to do goal setting perfectly. They write down all their goals. They do their New Year's resolutions. If you enjoy doing goal setting, again, the key to creating what you want is non-resistance and happiness. If writing down your list and going through it every day feels good to you, then absolutely do it. But for most people, more often than not, it creates resistance. So the only goal really to be focused on is non-resistance. Remember, your desires have already been placed, right? You don't have to check them in or check in on them every single day. Have some patience with it. Know that through you and through the synchronicities and timing and coordination of life itself, you will produce your desired results. Don't obsess about your goals. Obsess about loving your life. Principle number 17, surround yourself with other people who are focused on root cause work, other people who are living these spiritual principles, other people who can see when you've got entangled with your old way of thinking or you're trying to push too hard and can remind you that, hey, the key is non-resistance. Go enjoy your life. Surround yourself with other people who believe in the certainty of the goodness of the future. Surround yourself with other people who are focused on improving themselves personally. I believe that personal growth and achieving your full potential is not a do-it-yourself project. I was not able to do that with my recovery and my 12-step program. I had to do it with other people. I've done it in my entrepreneurship as well. I've done it in my life with my wife and my friends. If you want to create anything extraordinary, you do it with other people. As Arnold Schwarzenegger says, there's no such thing as a self-made man. It takes a village to produce a masterpiece life, and make sure that the people who you're populating your village with are people who are aligned with where you want to go. Principle number 18, don't get too concerned with solving problems. What I mean by that is things show up in our life that absolutely need to be addressed, but we end up grinding against them too hard. Einstein said something really important. He said, you can't solve a problem with the same frequency or the same energy that created it. So oftentimes when a problem shows up in our life, we've been taught to focus on the problem, get close to the problem, think about the problem. And there may be some things that you're experiencing in your life right now that you've been grinding on for a while, something you've been trying to solve. Again, getting a marketing campaign to work in your business, make more money, overcome a health challenge, transform some friction in a relationship. And when nothing seems to be working, try doing nothing. Step away from the problem and move, as Einstein referred to it as, move into the frequency of the solution. And what that often means is just move away from the problem and go enjoy your life. Go take a walk, take a bubble bath, go have a cup of your favorite coffee, go spend time with some friends, with your family, go give of your time and be in the service of other people. While you do that, you step away from the problem and the problem transforms. You come back to it as a renewed person in a positive state of emotion, in non-resistance, and that's where you want to solve any problem from. Principle number 19, our last principle, there are only two states of being. What I mean by this is that there are powerful states of being and primal states of being. Powerful states of being are states of being that feel good. States of being like joy, curiosity, compassion, passion, calm, peace, states of emotion that feel good to you. And then there are primal states of being that don't feel good, states of being like stress, anxiety, overwhelm, frustration, anger, jealousy, and boredom. And what's important to understand is that you're always in one state of being or the other. You're either in a powerful state or a primal state, and you're never in two states of being at the same time. And if you were to ask me, what is the key to producing the goals that you want to achieve? It's to notice when you've moved into a primal state and use whatever tools or information or philosophy you have to move back into a powerful state of being. Now, what's important to understand is the only thing that determines whether you're in a powerful state or a primal state are your own thoughts. Remember, your thoughts create your reality, and you have an emotional guidance system that's determining whether or not the thoughts you have are in alignment with reality, whether or not the thoughts you have are resistance or limiting beliefs. When you're in a primal state of being, when you're feeling something that doesn't feel good, it's a result of one thing and one thing only, and that is unintelligent thinking, thoughts that aren't true. When you're in a powerful state, it's a result of being aligned in your thinking, empowered decisions, empowered beliefs, believing that life is always working for your greatest growth, your greatest prosperity, your greatest evolution, that you are good enough, that you are the one, that you are in the process of materializing all of your desires and your full potential. The key to winning the game of life is to notice when you've moved into a primal state and to move back into a powerful state of being. And you're not always going to be in a powerful state. It is natural and normal to move into a primal state as we experience things that we don't expect into our life. Your nervous system is meant to move into the sympathetic expression of the nervous system, fight or flight. But what you want to be able to do is be the master of your own emotions, and to notice when you've moved into a primal state, to notice the only thing that's causing it is your own thinking, and to take a look at the thinking and to work with the thinking to transform it so you can move into a powerful state of being. Those are the 19 most important personal development principles if you want to achieve your full potential and have a powerful living experience. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, do me a favor, share this episode with somebody who needs to hear it. If you haven't yet and you're listening on YouTube, subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you get updates. Comment and ask questions. I read all of them. And if you're listening on the audio platforms, do me a huge favor. Leave me a rating or review and become a subscriber if you have not yet. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. This is something that we're going to continue to do together, and I will see you in the next episode. Hey, it's David. Hop on over to davidbear.com. Click right here. There's also a link in the show notes, and sign up for our newsletter. You'll get immediate access to my free Mind Hack ebook, as well as a couple of trainings to help you master the inner game. This is a great way to stay informed and be a part of our community and be notified of special announcements. Click below, head on over to the website, get subscribed. If you loved this video, make sure you check out this one or this one, and I will see you in the next video.